Hey, and welcome to Suburbs, map 16 of Doom 2. This is the beta version of this level. There aren't actually that many differences between this version of the level and the one that you'd play in the final version of this level. So here we're taking down the imps. There's an archvile and bony boy waiting outside for us. So this house here is actually based off Sandy Peterson's house. He actually has a YouTube video up where he talks about how he designed it to look like his house. The main thing you want from that building is the super shotgun. What I've always found with this level is that when you're trying to pistol start it, it's actually quite difficult because the amount of ammo on this level, the amount of ammo and the guns are all kind of spread out. It makes it quite difficult to sort of grab everything that you need. So we're going to run around here, grab the supercharge. But we're also going to come here because this gives us lots of shotgun ammo. So you can see the enemies have started chasing me around. One of the things about this level is that if enemies start following you, they will tail you throughout the level. It's one of those levels where you kind of have to, you know, think about what you're doing. So we're going to take down the pinkies here. So you can see here, there's a bunch of imps inside this room here. So this is the garage, and yeah, you can see how, yeah, this is a nasty room. There's not really much point in doing this if you're playing through this level normally, because this unleashes one of the two hordes that sort of appears on this level. This level's very aggressive, so when you pick up the blue key, one of the biggest swarms of enemies sort of appears. Enemies start zapping in, and it's kind of difficult if you're not equipped for that. So I recommend making sure that before you grab the blue key, you're fully aware of what you're doing and you know, grabbing all the ammo. I'm coming in here because there's actually some shotgun ammo in here which we really need to use. But you can see this is kind of like the suburbs. Not quite sure what that big grey building behind us there is supposed to be, or this big red one. So, fun fact, in the PlayStation version of the level, this is how you get to the mansion, which is one of Doom 2's secret levels. Unfortunately, we can't really see inside of here, so let's get rid of you, and let's get rid of you. So I'm not a huge fan of the suburbs, to be honest. I think in terms of like what I want from a Doom 2 level, I feel that there's a lot going on here. But obviously, you know, it's not a terrible level. I just think that this is a level where enemies kind of tail you and they can get very aggressive in chasing you, and especially with the types of enemies as well. You get cacodemons, you get mancubus. So I'm going to take care of these guys here. These are like little caves. Let's get rid of you. So there's another archvile around here. You really don't want the archvile around when you start killing all those enemies later on. We're not going to pick up that invulnerability now. Wow, you can see, if you look up there, you can actually see the archvile's already here. Ah, and he's revived the mancubus. Thank you for that. I could choose not to kill these guys, but you know, we're having a bit of fun with this level. But yes, one of the big headline things in this level is when you pick up this key, enemies will start to spawn in. Now, rather notoriously, back in the day, if your PC wasn't like super high spec, all these enemies teleporting in actually could cause issues with the performance on this level. So this is one of those few levels where if you weren't playing on a high-end PC back in the day, you could run into some real difficulty. And this is one of the few levels where there's like real instability on the PS1 version, which we'll talk about when we get to that version. You can see all those enemies there sort of showing up. So we're coming here to get this. And now what we're going to do, we're going to start blasting all these enemies with the BFG. But we're going to grab the invulnerability first because I'm not silly. I might be because I waste BFG bullets sometimes. But yes, this is one of the few times where Doom 2 kind of completely lets go of the leash and you kind of have to deal with all these enemies, which is pretty fun. So one of the interesting things is that when they released Doom 2, there was a slight spec bump from Doom 1, and larger enemy counts and the larger levels were kind of cited as the reason for that. And this is one of those levels where that actually becomes a thing because there's so many enemies in play at once. You don't normally get like that many enemies sort of showing up in one big go. So I don't really like the ending to this level because it's hidden, and I get that like you'd eventually come over here to sort of explore, but I imagine that more than a handful of people probably got lost on this level because it's not entirely obvious that the exit's all the way in the corner over here. Just an observation for me. I personally wouldn't have made it that hidden. Let's kill this Caco demon that's managed to get stuck up on top of the steps there. So this was Suburbs. As mentioned, the only real difference I've been able to find is that at the end here, when you go to the exit, it's not regressed, it's just a switch behind the barrier there. In the final version, it's a teleporter that you walk through. As mentioned, I'm not a huge fan of the Suburbs. Like, I get that they wanted like a big level where it was like a big massive showdown of enemies, and it's fun, like if that's what you're looking for. But for me personally, I kind of think the level's a bit sloppy in design, and I think that it's not to my taste entirely, but I respect what it's trying to bring to the table. So we're going to dive into the PlayStation version of this level, and I'm going to be upfront, this was an absolute pain to record. So effectively, because this level has such a high monster count, and because so many of those monsters end up on screen at the same time, if you try to use the BFG to take out like those enemies that all spawn in after the blue key, it's entirely possible that the game just kind of freaks out and crashes. And this happened like several times when I was trying to play through this level to record for this video, and in the end I kind of decided that, you know, I was just going to try and find a way to make it work. So you can see that some of these big levels do cause problems when they're being ported to consoles like the PlayStation here, because the PlayStation versions of these levels tend to be limited anyway. So there's no Archvile running around here. It's instead two bony boys, which, I mean, if that rocket hits us, it's going to hurt. So, still a pain. I mean... But yeah, even on the Game Boy Advance version, there's a Archvile here. So we get rid of you. There should be a box of bullets behind me, unless I picked them up already. I'd actually said this is one of the harder levels if you're pistol starting on PS1 Doom. This level's not very friendly for pistol starting because even though you can get the chain gun pretty early, like the super shotgun, the shotgun, the rocket launcher, the plasma rifles, and the BFG, they're all kind of hidden behind mid-tier enemies, and you don't really get that much chain gun ammo. Oh, wow. And obviously, with all these bony boys running around the level, there's a chance that they'll hit you like that. So I'm actually going to run over here because we need some of this ammo. So I'm going to grab the invulnerability here. And we're going to run around here, grab the supercharge and the shotgun stuff. But you can see functionally this is basically the same level. They didn't really change much for the PS1 outing here. They haven't even really made strong use of the lighting. Like, the level's a bit darker, but like the coloured lighting isn't really used as extensively as it might have been in other levels. Okay, we got rid of him. So you can see all these Caco demons kind of clumped together here. I'll take down all these pinkies up here just so I don't have to... Oh, where'd all the pinkies go? Oh, they've actually gone inside. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Don't know why I was waving my fist at him there. That was just to make me feel better, not to actually kill him. Grab this ammo here, grab the super shotgun here, and we'll just take them down one at a time. I don't know why, but on the PS1 this level just feels a lot more difficult. Okay, so we've got rid of the bony boys, which is good. But you can see the architecture of this level is very much the same as what we saw previously. So there's nothing too much happening differently. Even this encounter's the same, which, ugh. What I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to get all these to infight. Okay, so two of them are infighting him, which is great for me. So now we'll head over here. So you can see they've actually made use of the coloured lighting out here, which pretty cool. But of course, once we grab all this, yeah, the enemies start spawning in. And as I mentioned earlier on, this leads to a bit of a problem in this version of the game, because if you use your BFG and try to take down too many enemies at once, the game throws up a texture error issue and basically ends the game, because I don't think it can handle what you're trying to do. I've encountered that on the final Doom version as well, but I was surprised to see it turn up here. But in Google searching, I was able to find other people who've had the same thing. Run out of ammo though, that's not good for me. I'll just go and grab the plasma rifles here, I think. A lot of bony boys on this level. We're going to punch this one out. I like that in this version they also make the switch here more obvious. So if you don't know, the PS1 version of this level has a secret exit. It leads out to Mansion. You actually run off the side here, and where you pick up the BFG, which is where we'll be going in a second, there's actually a secret door that opens where the BFG is, and you can go in there to get out of this level quickly. They've changed some of the textures around in here. But yeah, if you don't want to deal with this level, this is where you'd come to get the secret exit. Mansion's pretty fun. I do recommend paying a visit if you haven't played through. It's actually a fun level. So as you can see, a lot of the enemies will start clumping up behind us here, and they'll start following us towards the end of the level, which, you know, not fun. These little bastards can also do one. You can see the enemies are starting to appear behind us here. They are not they're not happy to see us, and to be honest, I'm not happy to see them either, so we're just gonna run to the end of the level here because I really don't want to see that error message again. But yeah, this is an interesting level. It's fun. There's a lot of enemies on it. There's very few levels in Doom 2 that go quite this hard. Let me know what you think of this level in the comments, and thanks for watching.